We're going.
All right, okay. So, yeah, a little reflection on metta today. Metta, metta. It's one of these aspects of the practice that is so simple in some way, and yet it tends to get overlooked. You're not fully appreciated, or it becomes more of a cognitive thing. Oh, it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good, yeah, makes sense. Metta, basic friendliness, basic loving kindness, makes sense. Yeah, the world's on fire. It makes sense. It brings, basic friendliness wherever we can. And yet, cognitive creatures as we are, we tend to get up in our heads. We get lost in the doing and the being and the kind of the, all that we get involved in, and even in our practice. And there's more of an emphasis on paying attention and being more mindful than on metta, that aspect of kindness, that inner kindness. And you know, metta is connected. It's certainly a cousin of something like self-compassion, yeah, but it's a cousin light, and it's sometimes more helpful. I know with self-compassion, it used to just be way too intense for me to consider self-compassion because I was not worthy to experience self-compassion. But a couple drops of friendliness or metta, eh, that was a little bit more doable. Can I just basically be a little bit okay with myself? Just a little friendlier toward myself. It's so interesting in the West, in sending metta, generating metta towards oneself is considered the hardest, one of the hardest. Whereas in the East, it's considered one of the easiest. Yeah. So that in metta practices in the East, do we just start out with the self? It's easy. Of course, I care about myself. Of course, I'm born into fundamental goodness. Of course, I'm a good person. That's not. We're not born into that in the West. We're born into a performative culture that somehow we need to, and our, the underpinnings of our religion. We have to earn it a little bit. It's a matter of how we act, of how whether we're, we have to earn it. We have to earn our internal sense of goodness somehow more in this culture, and so it's harder. It's a little harder to just naturally generate it, to simply generate it. Yeah. Of course, that doesn't make it less worthwhile or important. It's just how we do that and how we introduce that. You know, it's really how do we introduce just the basic sense, which we all know. It's easier for us to generate it toward a kitty cat. Okay, that's just the way it is. It was easier for me to do that with a cat too for a while. It's still super helpful. It's super helpful to just reflect on that. This cat is totally dependent on me, on my care and on my stewardship. And this cat, just like me and like all beings, wants to be safe, feel comfortable and safe, not fearful. Wants to feel that just a general sense of friendliness in the atmosphere. Oh, of course, I can be part of providing that. And it feels good. It feels good, right? To step into that space. It's just good to imagine it. If I have no cat around, oh yeah. All right. Mm. So for metta, it's whatever. You hear us say this, whatever works for you. There's a different way into all these practices. There are formulas out there, there are prayers, there are mantras, there are recitations, but what's what works for you to generate just a little bit of sense of, and it's part of the inner holding environment that we talk about, that general sense of ease, that general sense of comfort, and that general sense of what we call friendliness is part of really setting up the container, the foundation for our practice. But it's still one of those pieces that can get kind of a little bit left out if we don't form the intention, close to the beginning of a meditation session, to not just follow the thought stream, and to not just, okay, and pay attention. Well, sometimes there's just no juice in paying attention. You know, the juice is the juice is in the affect. The juice is in the feeling. The juice is in the friendliness. And it's like, oh, right, right. Why do I keep forgetting that? Why do I keep forgetting that? You know, yeah. Well, that's what we do. We forget that. It's such a simple thing, but it's still a training. It's still like, oh, great, great. It's more reminders. There's so often we don't really need new instructions. We need new reminders of the things that are important to invite and to incorporate into our daily meditation practice. You know. Just a little few drops of friendliness. You've seen me do this before. Sometimes imagine I have a little dropper over my head. I can't take too much of it. I can't. I don't need. I don't need too. But a couple drops, friendliness. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what works for me. It gets me to smile. You know what I mean? It gets me to smile. It gets me to smile when I say, "Hey, buddy, don't get all serious right now. Just what's going on in there. All right, all right, all right. So what's more, what works for you? How would you invite that? How would you invite that into your practice, and how would you invite that a little bit into your day? Maybe it's more important than to try to pay attention all the way through our daily activities, to try to bring a little bit more ease and kindness, a little more juice of that kind, you know, as we're moving through our day whenever we can. A little bit more metta, a little bit more metta here, sprinkle it here, a little sprinkle there, a little sprig there. Yeah, yeah. A little bit here, a few drops at a time, you know, one more seed at a time, etc. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So it's really we're such complex beings. Yeah, we know this. We know this. We're so complex. But metta is it's sometimes we can overshoot the mark. Overdo. Well, it's how do I how would I invite that? I mean, how do I do that? As opposed to, well, maybe soften the breath a little bit. Just bring something to mind. Bring something to mind. Someone who's shared some metta with you. How many beings have shared some kind of metta with us along the way? The small acts of kindness that we also receive. Oh, right. Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah. How do we just invite that kind of loveliness into the atmosphere of our practice. Yeah, yeah. And when that wanders away, when the mind drifts away, what do you say? Returning as if to something that you cared about, to some coming back with a slightly more friendly, slightly more welcoming frame, returning in that way as best we can, you know, as if we were returning to something that we cared about, as if we did. Yeah, yeah. So we'll invite that. We'll invite that. Okay, and we'll invite that and on the meditation here that we'll do together now. Yeah, yeah. I'm already just completely filled with metta seeing all of you again. It's such a delight when we're away for a while. We think of you. Of course, we were on retreat for a full month with one of our, the teacher with great, great respect for. If you haven't listened to Dharma talks from Ajahn Suchito, we would encourage you to check them out on Dharma Seed. If you listen to Dharma talks once in a while, he's a, he's a special teacher. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was wonderful, and it's wonderful being back. Yeah, and it's wonderful to see you all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we know you're in good hands. So let's open up and we'll practice together a little bit. Okay? Yeah? Oh, I'll see if we can bring a little metta in. Oh, yeah, and we'll remind you, it's coming up, and I think you know this too, that we have the householder retreat, which is one they must do from home, so it's an online retreat that's happening from August 6th to 11th this year through the BCBS network, and we'll hope to see some of you there.
Wrong dates, my darling. August 10th through 16.
Oh, okay. It's the 10th to the 16th. Yeah. And okay. So when you're ready, slowing it down. Lightly closing the eyes. Yeah. How wonderful to be able to lightly close the eyes, knowing you're there in this energy field with many others who've shown up this morning, your Sangha. All together in this way and orienting similarly. Toward a bit more ease, a bit more spaciousness, a bit more comfort. And a bit more metta, a bit more basic friendliness. And when the mind drifts away, and you notice that, another opportunity to return to the breath, to the present moment. With that basic sense of friendliness and care. Keeping it as simple as possible. The mind wanders, the willingness to return in a simple way, in a caring way, in a friendly way. Keeping the breath as soft as possible. Mm. Even when there's busyness of the mind, agitation in the mind. And the last few minutes of the meditation, staying with it. kindly.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your practice.